Y'all, I swear there is something in the air. I feel like, and this may just be my algorithm, on my TikTok at least, it's all about how we're glowing up, how we're doing some sort of self-care, like journey, summit, mission for the rest of 2023, getting ready for 2024, how to reclaim our year back, all this kind of stuff. So I know why I'm doing it, but I feel like I'm not the only one doing it. So if you've seen my last few videos on my goals, plans, intentions, etc., you probably saw this video coming. This is my rest of the year glow up plan. If you saw my last video, you saw like what my goals and intentions for my 38th year. I just turned 38 this month. Yeah, this will go up in August. Okay, sorry. You have seen like the things I wanted to touch on. This is gonna be how I actually plan on achieving that in 2023. So let's start with like what this video is not. It's not pressure, it's not negative, it's not forceful, it's not goals for the sake of them. Yeah, I'm not interested in that. I'm actually trying to fix that. What it is, for especially, this is just for me, I'm just talking to myself here, you do you. Take what you want. What's the expression? Take the meat, leave the bones. This is a mindfulness practice. It's a habit tracker on roids. It's an opportunity to be better to myself. It's a way to, I think the thing that I'm the most excited about, honestly, is it's a way to develop 2.0, like Sarah 2.0. What do I want to take into 2024 and beyond? And it's not necessarily about always having, you know, the habit. It's about having the systems that work for me. And let me tell you, I've been really trying to pay attention to that this month. Like I have achieved hardly none of my goals for August that I wrote in July. And I'm totally fine with it because I'm realizing why. And I'm like, oh, this is really good. So here's what I'm doing. The first one I said was to listen more. That for me is a mindfulness exercise. So I am somebody who, I don't know, like I've never been like tested for this, but like, you know, when people, I see this on Instagram, sometimes you'll see people that are like, yeah. Sorry. You'll see like the, yep, that's me. I do that. And I'm realizing that's annoying. So part of it is just telling myself to stop, you know, like don't do that. I do it as like an acknowledgement thing and to make people feel less alone or less, you know, like, I don't know, to like alleviate other people's anxiety. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you're not alone. I've had that or whatever. And not everybody wants to hear that. So it's just removing myself from a conversation I don't need to be in without being a dick about it, if that makes sense. So if, again, it's just a mindfulness thing. So to put it really simply, I'm just going to stop talking as much. I'm not going to be a dick about it. I'm just not going to talk where I thought I should. Because maybe I don't. The other one I said was to continue to be more curious, explore, read, and learn. My 2023 year goal was to read 50 books. Like that was one of my big goals for the year because I wanted to be a reader, right? I'm currently sitting on my 33rd book. So I think we're gonna hit that goal. How I wanna do it though, and this is actually something that I feel really comfortable saying, the daily habit of reading. Even if it's, and this is something that like, I don't know if anybody else needs to hear this, but man, I need to hear this a lot. 5 minutes is better than nothing. Done is better than perfect. One load's better than all of them. Just like progress over baby steps. You'll get there. Just keep going a little bit at a time, you know? So I don't need to read 100 pages a day, but can I read, depending on the book, right? Like, can I read a chapter? Can I read 10? Like, what's my day look like? Can I do it? That's a thing for me. I really am like, just like working out. I don't need to work out an hour and a half a day. I don't have that kind of time. Can I do, what am I physically capable of? It's that kind of stuff. So a lot of these for me kind of hit that button, but if you're the same way, you're not alone. This is the one that like, in terms of a daily practice, I've been pretty good about it. Like much more often than not. It's I'd say 6 days a week. I probably read 6 to 7. The thing I want to get better at is time. So something I'm flirting with right now, and this sounds like duh, but for me, it's not a duh. It's like kind of an epiphany. I'm a big planner. So planning ahead in a way that doesn't shoot me in the foot One of the things I'm looking at, I like literally just did before I started filming this video, I looked at my next couple of weeks. I have a weekly layout in my planner as well. And I just plugged in anything where I have to leave the house, like any appointment or whatever. And that helps me. This is like, again, this is a duh thing, but it helps me eliminate time to where I can see, okay, I just don't have that time. So I need to be more intentional with my time. So if my goal is to read, you know, whatever, what am I, 17 books left in the year? I'm at week 34, something like that. TikTok. So that'll help me make better decisions. Okay, what book do I want to read next? You know what? Maybe a shorter one. Do I want, you get my point? Like, it's like, oh, this week's gonna be really tough. Maybe I should pick a shorter book. Or, oh, I have like a whole day that I could probably like, what do I really want to sink my teeth into? So that way I can kind of match different things to where I feel set up for success and still feeling respectful of myself. I'm going to talk about the same thing a lot. So you'll hear me go back to points frequently. The next goal I had was to audit myself daily. What I mean by that, what do I do because it's necessary? What do I do because it matters? What do I do because I love it? What do I do because I can't eliminate it? What do I do because I feel obligated to do it? What do I do that I hate? What do I do that's time wasting but positive, that's time wasting but negative? What do I want to keep? What do I want to eliminate? What do I expand? What do I want to reduce? What can I delegate? What can I not? Why do I do this? Why do I want to do this? What's the underlying concern with this? What is the issue if it doesn't happen? All of that. I am a big, if you haven't figured this out, what the hell? If you haven't figured this out yet, I am a Virgo rising. I love me a routine. I love me a system. I love me a plan. I am all about the minutia and the details and how we got there and progress. And I mean, my God in heaven, I love me some. My literal number one pet peeve in life is treading water. I cannot stand it. So anything I can do to like keep it moving, I want to do that. So how am I going to implement all of these? I'm going to journal daily. But that's a big thing I want to do, is journal daily. I want to do a daily gratitude practice. And I want to do a daily habit tracker. My habits will vary monthly. That's something I'm giving myself permission to change because I'm a human being and my needs will change. But the practice of tracking habits, that is where your day goes. That is where you see the building blocks of your successes. That is where you see where your time wasters go. What am I getting that has high reward? What do I have that's low reward? Effort? Is it worth it? All that kind of stuff. So for me, it's a great way to get into the minutia that I love to track and be in while still feeling like it's serving me in some way, really. You know what I mean? Okay. Self-care was another one. So I'm gonna do a habit tracker. I've got 20 things. I'm doing this a month at a time so I can pivot if needed, but I do want to commit to a month at a time because it takes 28 days. You know what I mean? That whole thing. So I want to give it that. I will say to you, again, this is just for the rest of this year. I have a ton of ideas for next year. I love this because I feel like it helps me kind of work out some kinks so that when I go into next year, I've had like more, iteration. I can figure out what I like. I had an external goal of seeing friends monthly. Dude, you should see the group chat on this. So August has happened, and it's actually we're gonna get 2 in, which is, I'm super excited. One of my best friend's husbands is a rock star, and so we're gonna go see his band, and we're all going. September is being planned. October is already on the books. So yay for that. So I had another goal of a 360 physical. I hope if you saw the video, you know what I mean. I had this whole thing about taking care of the house, right? So things I'm doing, almost all of the self-care habits could qualify into this, could fit into this category, but I want to track my weight. I'm going to track my fasting schedule, that kind of stuff. I'm not necessarily putting number goals on anything. That's not the point of that. It's just to get into the awareness practice. Like, hey, I don't have a cycle right now. So like, I can't easily point to this week, oh, this is my luteal phase, but I can track myself in other ways and be like, you know what? I noticed that this week of every month, I tend to be up in 2 pounds, or I tend to be more carby or more whatever, right? A little less interested in this. That's how I can get that information. So that's more why I want it. It's not to be like self-punishment or anything like that. I also am going to do a daily movement habit of just exercise and or stretch every day. I am keeping this vague on purpose. I want to account for life. I want to build the practice wide, not tall. So I don't want it to be only if it qualifies this way. It qualifies. It just has to be dedicated effort. Like we're going on a walk, or I'm gonna do, today I did bar and an arms and light weights thing. I need it to be flexible, because that's how it's like, consistency is key, flexibility is key. It's not about doing it perfect. It's not about doing it hard every day. That's not the point. And it's, I mean, like literally with female hormone health, you're gonna go through ups and downs with that, right? Like energy ups and downs and all that kind of stuff. So it's another way for me to track, like, hey, what could I do what was I in the mood for? That kind of stuff. Like I want to do it daily, even if it's like my back is bad. So like, hey, I really can't move much. So I'm gonna do some stretching. Can I stretch for like however long I can handle it? You know what I mean? That's fine. Okay, so then to like get into the habits that fit into this, dry brushing, gua sha. I want to do those daily because lymphatic drainage is really important. I just kind of recently started getting into it. So I want to just get into the practice and the habit of those and see the benefits of them in like a month. I'm really curious to see what I would notice. Mouthwash is, I have this whitening mouthwash that I make that I want to be like a daily consistency because I don't do it for like a ton of time. So I just figured if I did it every day for a little bit, that kind of, you know what I mean? Affirmations, I don't have them picked out yet, and obviously they'll vary, but I want to get into the practice of rewiring my neural pathways, and I'm trying to, Jeremy and I talk about this a lot with like our upbringing and stuff. There's like a lot of generational trauma, and I'm really trying to have it end with me and rewiring my headspace on things where I naturally come from. Just like literally telling myself to stop, pause. Why did you think that thought? Acknowledge the thought. Why did we think that thought? What could be the fault in that thought? And then just like kind of strong arming something positive into it so that you just kind of erode that pathway over time. I think that's a really healthy approach. I like the idea of it. I've also never done it. So I want to give it a go, and I want to give it a full month. That's like the 28-day thing that I was talking about. Like I want to give it a full month. Cuticle oil, foot balm, body lotion. Those are like, those seem kind of like insignificant. And that's kind of the point. I love especially in terms of like a self-care, those little things that you do for yourself. I think those, especially on days where like the wheels have fallen off the wagon, I think that stuff is so incredibly helpful for at least for me, right? Just to know that like the whole day didn't go to shit. So just the literal 5 minutes that it takes to put your lotion on, to do your cuticle oil, to put your foot cream on, whatever, it's gonna climb into bed. Knowing that I've done that with my mouthwash really makes me feel like I've taken care of myself in a way. You know what I mean? Even if nothing else got done that day, I'd be like kind of cool with that. HRT is like my thyroid and my testosterone. AG1 is my AG1 athletic greens drink. Vitamin D and K. I literally take that with my AG1. Home care tasks. That is like my daily, weekly, monthly chores that I do, like literal house chores. I call them care tasks now because I read a book that said it that way, and I really liked that because it doesn't feel like, ugh. It feels like, no, I'm taking care of my home, you know, which is like, yeah, obviously. But it's also like, it just makes it sound nicer, so you're more likely to do it because like you want to take care of what takes care of you. You know what I mean? So this is my back half of the year. I have index cards set up. So I've got, again, I like a system, right? Monthly, daily, weekly. And then I go through, and this kind of feeds into what I was saying at the beginning of the video where I was saying looking at my week and like what can I do when. I have really started to notice I'm set up for failure when it comes to getting my home care tasks done, because some days I just don't have time. Like some days I'm gone, or I have too many deadlines that day, or something's up, and then I feel pissed because it's like, well, hell, there's a whole day's worth of stuff I can't do. So I'm gonna shift how I approach what. So I've got like my baseline everyday stuff that only really takes, what? I don't know, less than an hour in a day. And then kind of depending. And then I've got stuff that, like, if I'm home all day and I'm crushing it and we're doing great, and tomorrow I've got whatever, like I can actually look at my week and be like, here is a chunk of time or the better part of the day, whatever I got, get some home care tasks done, like get some monthlies done, get a bunch of weeklies done, like really set yourself up for success. I would love, like, I'm really trying to actually build out my week to account for time for reading, time for that, time for I've noticed I'm shifting how I work now that I'm in my office. My hours are different. I keep longer hours for sure, but I noticed that my hours, like what I do when, has shifted tremendously since my office has been finished. It just feeds into that like greater thing, but I want to take care of what takes care of me, right? I want to take care of my home. Journal and gratitude, that feeds into the mindfulness, being present. How am I doing? Honestly, learning myself currently. That's a big one. And then gratitude, I'm a very, 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 very big advocate for practicing gratitude. I think it's actually kept me from a lot of what my friends struggle with. I don't struggle with, or if I do, I notice it really quickly because it's so much of an outlier of my normal life. And I think it's because I've done this for so long, but now I haven't written it down in like years. So I'd like to get into the practice of that. Gratitude is actually how I figured out I had a hormonal issue, because I'm not naturally like somebody, I've got a very long fuse unless there's like animal cruelty, disrespect, lack of gratitude. Like those are the three things that really piss me off. But for the most part, I've got a really long fuse. And I had noticed I was just really angry and I couldn't recover. Like it wouldn't go away. I would stay pissed about things that really didn't deserve it too. So something that I do, like a habit that I have anyway, is I'm very, for someone who sucks at being present, I'm very good at like, oh God, that's so pretty. Oh, I'm so grateful. God, I'm so glad we did that. Like think like in the moment, like I'll just think the thought and be like, man, like I'll acknowledge it and be grateful for it. And when I was in my ragey bit, I literally walked around my house trying to do that. And I didn't believe it. And that's when I really knew, like, this is new territory for me. I don't know what to do here. Like, I need help. So like, that's one of the reasons why gratitude is so important to me, because I find it to be one of my, like, compass, like, core strengths and skills that I've developed over my life. And it's definitely, to be like punny about it, it's definitely something I'm grateful to have developed, and I'd like to continue keeping it very sharpened. Hydrate, it's not something that I struggle with, but it's something I like to know that I got enough in, you know what I mean? Exercise, stretch, we talked about that. Skincare, again, that was like, not necessarily not doing it, but it is about just taking the moment for yourself. Reading, my PMT, which is for my hormone health. Let me know if you want me to show you how to make that. It's really simple, but I make a raspberry leaf concentrate and I drink it every night or most nights. And I want to track my spending and track my weight. We already talked about the weight. The spending is primarily because, again, being present, I am really impulsive when it comes to shopping. And I have noticed, it's kind of funny, as I've lost weight, I have like, you'll see a video about cleaning up my closet coming up. I am going to start a Depop and start selling clothes that just straight up don't fit me. And I literally bought and wore maybe once. And there's this sort of like, just, when we're putting the office together and it's like, God, there's stuff we bought. Well, he and I are both so bad at this. Like stuff we bought where it's like, why did we do that? Or like, I gotta find a home for this now. So just to reel in the impulsivity is really what that is. Also, like, I want to incentivize myself more. Like, I don't want to just get it to get it. I want to be like, no, I really, like, I have a goal for December, and it's I won't start it until I've started this Depop and like posted clothes. Because it's just like another thing I got to deal with otherwise, right? So, and that's, again, this feeds into the whole like goals, systems, all that kind of stuff. But when you're just intaking and not processing and kind of editing and auditing and cycling through, you just become a bit of a hoarder. And whether that's material goods or systems or goals or whatever, I'm definitely in that auditing phase. And part of that is like, I need to track and be much more aware of, especially like Amazon. Dude, you can get that. The amount of shit I buy after like 7 o'clock at night, because my brain's just like, and we're off. And I'm like, wait, why did I buy that? Like, I went out, I bought a pair of sneakers that I saw on Amazon, and they're super cute. I got them for walks. It's 200 degrees outside. Like, I didn't need those right then. And then I got a bunch of ankle weights and wrist weights for when I go on a walk. And I'm like, I'm not going on a walk for like at least another month. So why the hell did I need that now? It's like stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, just dial that in, be more intentional, incentivize yourself so it matters to you more. All the things you did when you were like 19, 20, when you were poor. I was broke for probably almost all of my 20s, or like poor to broke, depending on era. And I did that shit all the time. And now it's like, oh, I could get back at that. You know, food's another one, especially with how expensive groceries are with the kids. It's like, just because it's there doesn't mean you should have it. You know what I mean? Because if I throw this away, if I throw like $6 berries away, I'd be pissed. Just, you get my point, right? Just, do we have to have it? Is it important? Are you actually going to eat it? That kind of stuff. That's my plan. I'm going to track it all. I'm going to dedicate time, again, with the whole schedule thing, I'm going to dedicate time to sit down to build out the next week, check in on myself. How am I doing? What's my takeaways? What do I want to work on? I'm actually building out my own stickers for my planner to actually dial this stuff in and make it exactly how I want it. And again, like, hammer out some kinks before going into 2024, just so I can set up 2024 and be like set up. You know what I mean? Like, I think this time could be so informative and so helpful and really integral to the success of the next year. I think I owe it to myself too, you know? So let me know if you're doing this too, if you're doing your version of it, what yours are, like what your goals are and how you're gonna achieve them. And, you know, we can only give each other support. Again, right? The sisterhood is real. This is a community. So yeah, so let me know what you're gonna work on. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all very soon. Bye.